Hey guys, how's it going? It's 8-Bit Eric. Happy Halloween. I wish I had a better Halloween special for you guys, but today we're going to actually talk about a horror game called Wallachia in the Reign of Dracula. So this was an interesting game that caught my attention solely because it had these neo-retro graphics. This is basically like a homage to classic retro games like Castlevania and other games in that vein. But don't let it fool you. This is not a Metroidvania. It's not a one-for-one Castlevania type of game. In fact, I think this one stands on its own merits. This one actually, for an indie game, has some pretty good gameplay that feels like this would be right at home with other titles like Super Castlevania on the SNES or even the TurboGrafx or Sega Genesis. So what is this game about? Well, basically, you're a character named Alison. She's a heroine, and she has a bow and an arrow. She goes on a journey to kill Vlad the Dracula. So this story is actually based on Vlad the Impaler. So it is based on an actual game, and I was impressed. Now, again, this is a fast-paced, action-packed game. It has this retro style that a lot of games nowadays try to do. A lot of these indie games that we see come out on the eShop do this old school retro neo type of graphics, and it's always nice to see when we have a game that is not only inspired by some of the classics but also takes its own thing, makes its own feeling, and feels like something that could stand on its own merit. So Wallachia, I hope I'm saying it right, Reign of Dracula impressed me to that regard. It didn't feel like a blatant copy. It didn't feel like a blatant ripoff. There's about 7 action-packed levels in this game that feature a whole bunch of like interesting vibes. Like playing this, you really feel like you're in an old like European area that is just spooky. You'll see run-down ruins in the background, broken and spiky stuff, dead bodies, skeletons coming like all over in the background, and some of the enemies and the bosses range from like humans for whatever reason that are after you to like the undead and big giant creatures. It definitely has an arcade-like vibe, actually. This game feels straight up like an arcade port more than anything. It's not open world or not. It's pretty linear, actually. It doesn't feel as explorative as a Castlevania game, which is fine. I'm fine with this not being a complete Castlevania clone. Now, this game does challenge you. I will say, first and foremost, holy crap, the first 2 levels of this game, I kept dying so much that I was like about to rage quit and throw my controller on the ground and say, nope, never again. But with practice and with timing, you can actually be okay with this game. So Wallachia, the character Alison, she's able to use a bow for ranged attacks, and you're also able to use a sword for short attacks. Your bow can shoot in about 8 different directions, and the sword is useful for close quarters combat, but also for slicing projectiles. So if enemies shoot arrows at you or spears, you can cut the projectiles with your sword. Now you do have special arrows that have limited ammunition, piercing arrows, explosions, 3-way projectiles. You can even charge your arrows down by holding the attack button. And you're also accompanied by 4 different spirits. These helpers can be selected with the shoulder buttons. They have different abilities. Like for one, the White Wolf does like a attack that goes across the screen. One of the people throws like a fire flare that attacks everything. Then one of them can do temporary invisibility, and the other one can strengthen your arrow attack. So you're able to use this in conjunction with Alison's abilities to basically complete the level. So I kind of like that. Now Alison is actually pretty legit. Instead of floating candles in this game like Castlevania, you collect these orbs that come out when the enemies die, and that helps you strengthen and use your abilities and stuff like that. Now I would say the difficulty level on this game is pretty much spot on with some of these 8-bit and 16-bit Castlevania games for the challenge. Now there is checkpoints once in a while, but in I guess they're not close enough. Like, I swear to God, in the second level, I made it pretty far, and I died, and I had to start over from scratch, and that gets frustrating. I know people feel checkpoints are a little bit of hand-holding when it comes to games like this. I've even had people tell me, suck it up, you're a retro gamer, you know NES games weren't as forgiving. But luckily, there is an easy mode in this game, but I think it stops you at a certain point in the game. You cannot see the full ending, so that's also kind of like Ghouls and Ghosts or Castlevania and stuff like that. You do have unlimited continues, thankfully, and you can do a level select once you unlock certain parts of the thing, so it kind of saves your progress. So it's not absolutely unforgiving, but it is manageable. Now, I will say this game is pretty good. It plays well. Allison, she has a double jump. Again, she can fire 8 directions. She has the sword, so she's pretty versatile. She can also slide to dodge. You can even roll to dodge attacks. She's a pretty good controlling character. The game is not slippery at all. She controls really well. The gameplay mechanics, if you're a retro gamer, you can just pick it up and play. Plays great with a pro controller. I haven't checked in touchscreen mode at all because I don't like the touchscreen. But I will say, as far as the visuals go, it does feel classic. It feels spot on with other games that are inspired by Castlevania and stuff like that. And the soundtrack, oh my gosh, don't let me get started on the soundtrack. That's the best part, I would venture to say, because it just has that real action-packed adrenaline rush that's catchy. Thankfully, it carries its own identity, though. And the game overall, it doesn't rip off too much off of Castlevania, like I said. So, Wallachia, Reign of Dracula is definitely a very neat little game. I can definitely appreciate it. I love it. I like it. It was a lot of fun. It was a nice little callback in these modern times. So I recommend it, and it's a perfect Halloween game. So guys, that's it for today's video. Short and sweet. Thanks a lot for watching, as always. If you haven't subscribed yet, please consider doing so, and I will see you on the next one. Have a great day. Peace out. Consider supporting 8-Bit Eric on Patreon for just $1 a month. Link below in the description. You want to become part of the hashtag 8BE Nation, guys? Well, be sure to pick up your official merch, now available online. Link is below in the description. We got classic t-shirts, tank tops, hoodies, and even women's apparel. Don't forget, pick up your official merch now. And while you're at it, guys, feel free to watch the next video, or why don't you catch up on one that you might have previously missed. Thanks again, guys, for all the support. I couldn't do this without you. You guys are amazing, and don't forget to subscribe and click that like button if you are brand new. Thanks again, guys. Peace out.